Hey friends, wanted to continue the series on why the church needs philosophers. So, we looked at the first two, which was clear thinking. That is, philosophers help bring clear thinking, be able to analyze arguments that is oftentimes against the faith, as well as being able to shore up some of the arguments or reasons for the faith. Secondly, it is the handmaiden of theology. That is, it helps us as we are countering objections from Muslims, for example, who come after things like the doctrine of the Trinity, or what's sometimes called the hypostatic union. Helps us get to metaphysical realities such as what are angels, what are demons, what does it mean to say God is existence and gives existence to everything else? What are some of those things exactly mean? Today, the third thing I want to look at is defeating defeaters from within. So, in philosophy, a defeater is something that counts kind of as an objection against your view, right? In whatever particular state of affairs it is, a defeater is something that is an objection or something that can defeat the particular worldview within. And so, within Christianity, you have a lot of people who have differing views. So whether even in the Catholic, Lutheran, Orthodox, Baptist, right? You have a rise of people who accept a lot of progressive type theology. And sometimes these guys are called progressive Christians. And normally, quote-unquote progressive Christians are those who accept things like abortion. So they would be pro-choice or pro-gay marriage, etc. And they would try and teach that the Bible doesn't explicitly teach against those particular things, etc. So philosophy helps us to be able to analyze those particular arguments as well and be able to respond and bring back, kind of help guide the church back into orthodox thinking and orthodox teaching that goes in line with the scripture. And a lot of times there are some very convincing arguments that come from the progressive side. And I think they can bring some good things to the table. I don't want to demonize everything that they do. Things that obviously blatantly go against Scripture. As a Lutheran, Scripture is going to be my final authority, but there is things like church history, the councils, the creeds, the confessions. These are things God has given us in order to be able to have a good, right, sound doctrine and teaching and not veer off. Councils and creeds are somewhat kind of like guardrails on a road, that help you from flying off and getting into danger. And so it's good to have opposition sometimes, because it forces you to think about through what are the arguments, what does the scriptures actually say on particular issues, what does science have to say today, etc. So it helps us to be able to examine arguments that are coming from within the church and see, do we need to rethink our position on certain things? And so I think that is a good thing. The other thing, that I didn't really write it down, but as we're dealing with people who have differing views, it can be hard to have your views taken apart and analyzed, right? It can be uncomfortable, but it's important. It's important, and philosophy helps us at times to be able to kind of remove ourselves, try to look at the position, look at the arguments, remove the emotion, turn down the heat, and try and just zero in on the arguments. Now, you have, issues like abortion where it is very hard to turn off the heat at times, because it's a passionate issue. Most people when it comes down to abortion, they're not neutral. They're either for it or they're against it. Very few people just don't really have an opinion on it. And so what I think is helpful with philosophies is it helps us to be able to examine the views that are given forth logically and see, okay, do the arguments work? That doesn't mean that, we can always do that, because our emotions can be cloudy as well. But philosophy gives us the tools to remove some of those emotions and be able to have good discussions. I'm in discussion with several people now who, are pro-abortion and, think the Bible is full of errors, etc. But I'm glad I'm able to have those discussions and talk with them and pray for them. And it's helping me with my virtues and my character as well, to be able to, not just get angry and upset and not even listen to the other side and the other view, but able to analyze it. The next thing I would say is that philosophers can help guide people to not follow their passions or appetites and feelings, but instead have their rational mind lead. This is one of the points in the article, Why the Church Needs Philosophers. Again, it's on the Gospel Coalition, and it kind of just goes back to what I was just saying with that, as far as it's helping us to not just be swept away in anger and emotion, but to be able, again, to analyze the reasons. Look, I've seen this so many times where I will see, a Christian arguing their case for the pro-life position, and people are made in the image of God, etc., and then in the same sentence or in the same breath turn around and viciously attack a liberal. So questioning whether Michelle Obama is a man or not, or those kind of things. It's very hard to make your case that human life has dignity and should be respected, and then turn around and viciously attack people that disagree with you. That is just not, that isn't good. It's just that does not honor Jesus. It is irrelevant to the arguments at hand, and so I would implore Christians, don't do that. Look, even when it comes to the issue of abortion, most people that are even for abortion are not saying, we want to kill babies. Now, I think abortion does kill innocent human beings. I don't use the term baby because that's just kind of an emotive language. Baby is just look, you got your zygote, your blastocyst, your embryo, your fetus, your infant, your toddler, your teenager, your adult. All those things are just different stages of human life. So I'm in a discussion with the gentleman now. And demonstrating it. An embryo, I'm not calling an embryo a baby, because a baby is dealing more with, the stage of development, right? But it's still a human being, and that's why I use that terminology. But yeah, it's most people that are for even abortion, come second or third trimester abortion, most people are not for it. And so it's more of a confusion as to when does life begin. That's where most people are confused on, and that's where the science really speaks clear, that life does begin at conception. But I just say that all to say, we don't want to attack. We don't want to do ad hominem attacks. If you watch my video on logical fallacies, we don't want to attack people, right? We want to analyze the arguments. As 2 Corinthians 10:5 says, we demolish arguments and every pretension that sets itself up against the knowledge of Christ. So we don't want to attack or demolish people. We want to look at arguments. So I think philosophy helps us to do that. We want to be in good character. We want to, as Matthew 22:37 says, love the Lord with all of our heart, all of our soul, all of our mind.